One of the original Four Horsemen.
Ah, that's right.
Original stable.
What is this for? A podcast.
Welcome back to the Jojitorium. Well, I think remember too, whenever we found the German Scheiser corn. Let's not lie to each other. You're in twerk classes over there. That's what
yeah. That's all it is.
The fitness class.
Working on them TikTok videos you like so much.
Dead face.
Got right in front of you.
Welcome back to the Jojitorium. You know who it is. It's Adam, it's Matt. We're decaying with the boys, and we have invaded the North Hills Homebrew Fest 2023. So for the most part of this episode, you're only going to hear me interviewing some of the friends of the podcast and maybe making some new ones. So let's get right into it.
We are outside the Jojitorium for this one because it's the second time, but it feels like the first time. So I got to go solo again while you decide to try to go for a three-peat today at the North Hills Homebrew Fest 2023.
I'm working today, man. It's a field day for us, though.
It is. It's nice to get out and pretend like we don't just stay in the basement the whole time.
Yeah, this is like, I get one weekend out a month, so.
It's like release.
Other than that, I just stay in my dwelling.
Are you on an anklet or something?
I can't talk about it.
So we talk a million times over about the beers you're bringing. What's your confidence level right now? Because you look like you're pretty chill.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it now. The hazy got a little shook up on the way here. Always happens though. So we got here early enough though. It's settling down.
Good.
By the time VIP gets about halfway through, we should be all right.
Good,
and
man.
the Italian Pilsner's looking good, tasting good. So
awesome.
We're ready to go.
You see anybody in here that's going to be fierce competition for you today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take anybody lightly. We got some newcomers with Jolly Redbeard over there, and the couple right next to us here this year is new.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even have a brewery name yet, so we'll see. And then Mesh Mash is new, but then you have the old steadies like 60 South and Homebrew here, and Whittlewood's back again this year. So yeah, it's not gonna be easy.
I'm gonna go around and just start kicking over
Fifth
tanks.
Season's already been yelling at me.
Dude, I was walking on property and Mike was yelling at me. All right, well, hey man, I'm not getting up a ton of your time. I just want you to get on the intro with me before we branch off and do what we do best, and that's dominate, because we're the Bang Bang Beer Gang.
Oh yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, and come bug me later.
I'm going to.
Get me in the heat of it. See how calm I seem then.
I will do, Captain. All right, buddy. See you in a little bit.
Fucking shit everywhere.
So we are here at North Hills Homebrew Fest 2023, and I ran into not only a fan of the show, but one of my good friends here, Mr. Jason Mesher, head brewer of Mesh Mash Brewing. Shaking your head no.
No, co-brewer, and probably even more toward assistant brewer. I'll give Zach more credit than I.
Well, why would you? So what's the separation of duties then? Like, are you just the mouth, the good looks? Because if that's what your job is, you're failing miserably.
Then we better go back to review our business plan.
So you do split this with it's your brother Zach.
Yes.
And so you guys, this is your first time here serving, but you've been here in attendance before, right?
I myself have, yes.
Okay.
Before.
Wonderful. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what did you guys bring to the competition this year?
So this year, 2 beers. Every beer that we make so far is the first time trying everything.
Okay.
So this is even a little bit more brave and beyond that, because we did a red Kolsch with cranberry flavoring. So, and we're trying just a traditional Scottish ale.
Okay. And the cool thing about what your beers too that I really like is you guys are huge music fans, so you name all your beers after the music that you love. So what are the names of these beers? They have to be creative, right?
Right. So after some playing around, thinking about maybe Lady in Red, we went away with that. We're doing Red Kolsch for the Kolsch. Shout out to UB40. And for our Scottish ale, since we're all going back to school, tribute to Van Halen, Scott for Teacher.
Dude, I like that a lot. Fantastic. So would you say that these are the beers that you find the most adventurous? Because you're saying that every time you're brewing beer for something, it's the first time. So did you find that these ones were the most adventurous ones, or did something you make before be a little more consuming than these ones?
These ones are a little more adventurous in that with the Kolsch, we've never really delve into the abstract, or the adjunct, aspect of it. So that's a little bit outside of our usual comfort zone. The Scottish ale, Zach wasn't around, so I had to actually brew this one all by myself. So that's a little more further outside the comfort zone, because I like to have.
So you are the head brewer. You're trying to pretend like you're not, but you took over for Zach.
Not at all. He's brewed one without me before too.
Okay.
So yeah.
So this is your first time without him. What did he brew without you?
A tangerine cream ale, a very small batch.
Yeah.
It turned out very nice. I wish he would have made more of it, and we're going to, I think, maybe for trash competition 2024.
Oh, so a nice return brew. That's nice. So do you find that you're gonna see how you did it last time and try to make some tweaks for the next iteration?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you want to give anybody that's listening here the inside scoop on what you're going to tweak on that thing, or are you just still on the R&D side of it right now?
Just R&D side for right now, yeah. So far the reviews are coming in pretty good on the cream ale, so just might have to ramp it up a little bit to make it a 5-gallon batch, but we'll see what everybody else says.
Awesome. And I, of course I want a bottle, so whenever that's done, I love tangerine, I love cream ale, so I need to get a hold of this thing.
Okay.
So I also want to say congratulations to you. You guys took home, was it your first award?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so
yes.
You first and second place finish in the Westmoreland County, is it the homebrew competition over that way?
Yes.
Talk to me about that, man. What was that like?
Just on a whim, my brother brought home an application maybe a month or so ago and said, hey, they have, the county fair is going on. They're going to have homemade wine, homemade beer competition. So why don't we just throw a couple of ours in? And at that time, we still had some of our Irish Red and our Chinook IPA in bottles. So we filled out the application, turned them both in, and the Chinook IPA took first place for light ale, and for amber ale, the Irish Red took second place in that category.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, it was almost, I want to say almost a year ago that Adam and I had interviewed you, and it was your first time making a beer, and we were really excited because the beer you brought to us was really good. We enjoyed it. And you were awesome. You took notes from Adam and you spoke to us a bunch about it. And it's good to see that you're still in it and you're winning competitions now. What's the equipment looking like then? So you went to that competition. What was the equipment looking like for the Westmoreland competition?
It's still the same as what we did a year ago.
Still doing the kits?
We're still doing the kits.
Okay.
We're still doing over open flame. We haven't quite broken off those training wheels yet and gone into brewing a bag or, heaven forbid, all grain, but we were coming up on almost a year. Spoiler alert for anybody coming to Brewing for a Cause, the anniversary beer will be made again for Brewing for a Cause, and this time we've cleaned up a lot of our technique that we did on that very first beer, so we're really looking forward to seeing how that's going to turn out.
Awesome, man. So now that you're here and you're playing against the big dog, I know you look up to Adam a lot. He's going for the 3P today, so he's here. There's a bunch of other brewers that are here today. Is there anybody here that you would like to team up with and kind of do like a dream team brew for just like a showcase?
I mean, there's a good number of them. I know Tom Zacher, 60 South, right?
Yes.
60 South. He makes excellent beers. Dave Tapp, right around the corner here. I don't remember the name of his home brew.
Okay.
Of course, Katrina and Mike, just they're great people to interact with overall. So I think, and they make great beer, so I just think it'd be a fun time doing all that together.
So you got to pick one, and you got to pick a style of beer. Who is it, and what are you doing?
Probably Adam.
Okay.
And probably something incredibly boozy.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I've never done a barley wine.
Okay.
So maybe like something like a barley wine
stage.
Something bold.
I like that. That would be fun. That'd be cool.
A good slobber knocker.
Absolutely. Oh, well, there you go. We're already R&D in names. It's a slobber knocker. So you know how this goes. Our podcast is combat focused. You know that. I know that. You're no stranger. So I'm going to challenge you to pick in a category here. I'm going to throw you either a random question, a comparison, a true and false. It could be anything.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you the categories. I'm going to need you to pick one because I'm not giving you an option to play the game. You're playing the game.
That's right.
All right. So you can play this or that, the lightning round, red, green, beige, or legacy questions.
We'll go this or that.
Okay. So this or that came from our time with pop culture references and most specifically viral videos on the internet.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to give you 2 viral videos, and you have to tell me which one has more views.
Do we get a lifeline? I wish I had my kids here with me.
Absolutely not.
Darn it.
These you should know these.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
These are in our wheelhouse. We are old, but we are mighty. 2 Girls, 1 Cup versus Ain't Nobody Got Time for That.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Correct. Ain't Nobody Got Time for That had 34.5 million at the time of this writing versus 2 Girls, 1 Cup sitting at 30.1 million. You're off to a good start. You gotta get 2 out of 3. All
Piece
right?
of cake.
Cool. David After Dentist versus The Evolution of Dance.
Evolution of dance.
Correct again. The Evolution of Dance coming at 310 million versus David After Dentist at 141 million. Last but not least, Star Wars Kid versus John Cena prank phone call.
Star Wars kid.
You finally missed one.
Ah.
You went 2 for 3, so you already won the game, but the icing on the cake would have been going 3 for 3.
It would have.
The John Cena prank phone call sits at a crispy 50 million, while Star Wars Kid sits at 37 million.
I thought that might have been a trick question since you can't see John Cena.
Well, you only heard him on this
darn
one,
it.
so
Okay,
your
okay.
logic is flawed, Jason.
Yes, yes.
So Jason, I thank you for your time, sir, and I hope that we're here before the VIP hour even starts, and you were my first guest on this little adventure when I go solo. So thank you
honored.
very much, and I'm honored too that you're going to talk to me, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man.
Thanks so much.
So as I continue to find brewers that I haven't spoken to, I'm running into someone new. So before we get started, Anthony, can you tell everybody who's listening who you are, if they can find you on social media?
Yes, I am Dan Moore. I'm the Moore of Tap Moore Brewing, and we are on both Facebook and Instagram under Tap Moore Brews.
Wonderful, wonderful. And is this your first time coming to the North Hills Homebrew Fest?
This is our third.
This is your third time.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So prior to that, are you bringing something new to this one, or are you trying to
Yes.
bring some returning recipes?
No, these are 4 new recipes that
All
we
right.
have today.
So what did you bring here today?
So we have a peach habanero wheat coming in right around 5.5. We have a rye IPA, and all of our beers we name after. They're all musically themed. So
Oh, nice.
the peach habanero is Hot for Peacher. The rye IPA is Let Me Ride. Coming in right at 5.6. We have a strong ale. It's called FU, I Won't Do What You Tell Me.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And that's coming in at 8.2. And we have a black IPA that we called Back Dance, and that is 6.8.
Wonderful.
So-
Would you say that one of the brews you're bringing, or maybe more of them, are more of the most challenging recipes you've taken on?
I think all of them were pretty challenging. Yeah. So the strong ale was more. That was probably the simplest. There's not a whole lot going into that. 2 types of malt, alternate hops. The peach habanero, definitely a little bit more than we've gotten into before.
Okay.
And the rye IPA it's just a fun,
Yeah.
and the black IPA has a bit of strawberry hint to it as well. So
Okay.
we kind of had a little fun with that one.
Nice. So, the homebrew scene is pretty unique in that it's very DIY. So lots of
Yeah.
people have different kinds of kits. So what does your equipment look like right now that you're brewing on?
We're using a Spike Trio.
Okay.
So we kind of went in with both feet during COVID and
Nice.
just started there. So that's what we're brewing on. And we have conical fermenters
Oh, great.
from Spike
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
All
man.
hooked up with a glycol chiller to keep temps where they should be.
Nice. So with that glycol chiller, have you guys touched your feet into like lagering and things like that
We
too?
have
or-
not.
No.
We have not. We were going to
Okay.
try it this year. Our schedules both have been super crazy.
yeah.
So we haven't brewed this summer as much as we would have liked. But
Okay.
hopefully over the winter, we're going to find some time and ramp up and get into some things. I'd also like to get into Pilsners.
Okay.
Just for the challenge of doing all those different type of beers that we haven't tried yet.
Nice. And so now that you're on the Spike kit and you have glycol chiller, like you're, for someone who's new to the game, that you're talking about things that they're hoping they get on their Christmas list. So how long have you been brewing beer?
We're going on almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And did you start off like guys like me with like on the kits?
We did not.
No, what was your first setup?
The Spike.
You went right to Spike.
It was COVID, and
Yeah.
we're like, you know what? We have time. We love to brew. and just like I said, went in both
awesome,
feet.
man.
So-
And you're bringing bangers here too, man. You're like, who wants to crawl when you can run?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we kind of lucky that we were able to do that. Like obviously starting out, we still had, it was, as you brew it, the learning process. No matter what your equipment, just figuring out how to do everything. So it still took us a minute, and I think these 4 are probably the 4 clean. Like I think we're the happiest with the 4 we have right now because they turned out exactly how we intended, and it's like when that happens, as a young brewer, that's like, oh, sweet, okay, yeah. So
saying that, identifying yourself as a young brewer, 4 years in, you're on a nice kit. Are you a part of any Trube, Trash, or any of those societies?
Both, yeah.
Both? Okay.
Yeah, we're involved in both.
So then you get to be around a lot of different brewers.
Oh my goodness, yeah. The community is so welcoming and so helpful.
Nice.
It's been awesome to be a part of it.
So now that you're here at the North Hills Homebrew Fest, which is known as being one of the top homebrew competitions in Pittsburgh, we got a lot of heavy hitters in here today.
Yeah.
Are there any brewers here that you are kind of like you kind of look up to, that you want to try to get to that level, or just aspire to kind of get on their way?
It's Tyler at Whittled Wood does a great job. Bash. So the guys and brewers that have been around longer than us that are putting out consistent recipes over and over that we've noticed from going to so many events and just at the trash meetings.
Yeah.
I think that's our next step, is to try and start to repeat some of the ones. Like these 4 are definitely going to be the next in series that we try and brew again to repeat them. So I think that's a big challenge for any brewer. You can catch fire in a bottle once.
Yeah.
Can you do it twice? And that's when I feel like, okay, we're really starting to get the hang of this and understanding what we're doing.
That's awesome.
And that'll hopefully allow us to kind of branch off into our own recipes.
Yeah.
And start coming up with stuff like what we're doing, but on our own. So.
And sometimes they say catching fire in a bottle comes from a collab. So you named 2 people that I'm really familiar with Bash Brew and Whittlewood.
Yeah.
Would you pick anybody here today to team up with and make a beer? Who would that be, and what would you try to make?
Geez, I don't know if I could choose, because it's just such.
You have to choose.
Have to choose. I actually, Whittled Wood or Bash, I would love to collab with. And
what would you think about
learn
making?
From? You know what? I would probably just follow their suggestions. They're the veterans, and but I wouldn't mind, having somebody like either of those 2 brewers help us along in brews that we've never done, like a lager. Or a Pilsner.
Nice.
Something along those lines where, clarity is so important, and temps for fermenting, and stuff that we haven't really gotten into yet.
Yeah,
So.
That's cool, man. And that's the one thing I really do enjoy about the homebrew community, and trying to help represent it, is that I've never run into a homebrewer who says, I'm better than all this. No one's going to be able to, everyone's learning from each other. It's a really cool experience. And that's why I love covering things like this and being able to bring people on and talk to them. But you should know that aside from brewing, we are a combat sports podcast too. We love MMA, we love professional wrestling, love everything in between. But we also like pitting Adam, who is my podcast partner, against guests. And I lovingly call it Adam versus guests. He never knows what the questions are. I just surprise him when people come on. So what I like to do in these situations, because I'm by myself, I have no one to laugh at my terrible jokes. So I go through and I find questions or some prompts that I try to give people, and if you get them right, you can get some free stickers. Are you in?
I'm in.
All right. So you have some categories you can pick from here. So there's a category called This or That, the Lightning Round, Red, Green, Beige, or Legacy Questions. Which one do you want to dip your feet into?
I'm going to go Legacy Questions.
Legacy Questions.
Yeah.
These are some of the questions that fans wrote in and said that they were the funniest questions we could possibly ask. And they're all multiple choice questions. So much like you go on to any one of these numerous game shows, allow me to read the question and all the answers before making your final selection.
Right on.
So, multiple choice question. The small island of Nauru, located in Oceania, is home to the largest population of obese people in the world. What is the percentage of fat dudes on Pleasant Island? A, 30 to 40%. B, 50 to 60%, C, 70 to 80%, or D, 90% and above?
I'm going to go C.
Is that your final answer?
That is.
You are a generous man, but it is D. It is
wow.
actually, the men are clocking in at 97%.
Oh my
Do you want
God.
to take a guess just for a little bit of redemption what the women are clocking in? It's lower than 97.
I'm gonna go 84.
93.
Oh wow. Yeah,
This
it's
is
a big
Pleasure
country.
Island. Oh yeah, they just, it's rich with fruits, and like they just know how to party. It's always pig roast time down there. They know how to party. And that's
Right
why it's
on.
become a destination for people to go to as well.
Okay.
And I think that a destination sooner rather than later is going to be your tent later on, because I come through and get some of that peach habanero wheat, because that sounds like
Right
right
on.
up my alley. So I thank you. One more time for everyone, where can they find you on social media?
Tap More Brews, Facebook, Instagram. That's where we
Wonderful.
are, yeah.
All right, man, and we look forward to actually having you on for a full episode sometime if you
Awesome.
if you
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
man.
I'm
I
gonna run
appreciate
stickers
it.
over to you guys anyway. Okay.
Right on.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
So as I continue to do my job, I'm running into new people, running into some old people, I'm running into some good friends. And I think this guy right here is none of those things. This is Mike Petcher from Fifth Season Brewing. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Matt, what's up?
Yes.
How's it going? Glad to be here.
It is good to see you, man. And it's
to see you.
always fantastic to see you bringing in some bangers. So people know you by now, but we got some new listeners. We actually got some reach now, finally. So real quick,
Congratulations.
I know, right? It's only taken 3 years. So if you could, please let everyone know where to find you on the socials.
So the socials is basically Instagram and Facebook. It's going to be Fifth Season Brewing, and that's with a 5. So 5th _brewing, and that's mainly on Instagram is the most active, but we're also on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. And for people who don't know you, you are one of a duo there.
Yep, Katrina.
Are the ones who are holding down Fifth Season.
Absolutely.
So, fantastic. So first and foremost, before I go into anything about today, I want to congratulate you on being the repeat champ for the Bolero Homebrew competition.
Yep, Bolero Snort. We won it back in 2021. We took off last year. We entered again this year, and we ended up winning.
So 2022, they saw the lesser than. You had to come back and show them who the real champ was.
I guess you're saying that. I'm not saying that, but
So what
either way.
was the brew for that one that you won?
So the brew for that one was it was a Japanese rice lager with Sriracha Ace hops and Szechuan peppercorns.
Oh my God.
So
What'd
yeah.
you call that thing?
So when we brew it at home, we call it kanpai, which is basically cheers in Japanese. But we're going to be calling it, when we brew it with them, we're going to be calling it Vacation on Monster Island.
Oh, that's so cool.
So a little homage to the old Godzilla
yeah.
movies. Yep.
Mothra.
So yep.
I love it, man. So let's talk about today. You know, you're coming off. That's an exciting win. You're coming up here. The North Hills Homebrew Fest is known as one of the top-notch homebrew competitions in this area. So you had to bring in some bangers. So what did you bring for today's event?
All right, so we brought what we're calling pink pineapple. It's basically a pineapple and pitaya or dragon fruit wheat beer. That's coming in at around like 5.1%. And then we also are bringing Jolly Roger, which is a tropical stout. It was brewed with sugarcane syrup and then conditioned on coconut, cacao, and dark rum soaked oak chips.
Oh my goodness,
So,
dude.
yeah, that's coming in around just over 7%,
Yeah,
so 7.2.
It's a lot of flavor to pack too, and a 7%er.
Yep.
So I know which one I'm gonna grab first.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. Trying to make it nice,
Yeah.
thick stout, but not too big, but with just a lot of flavor coming at you,
You might actually check off. So I have a little list of to-dos for today, and one of them is find a killer stout today in this summer heat. So
Yeah, a lot of people, especially in these summer, these summer festivals, they really don't. They leave the stouts at home, and you know what? We like to bring them because we like to brew them.
absolutely,
So-
yeah. So and you guys have been doing this now. Well, you've been brewing for a while.
Yep.
How many years have you been in the game?
It's got to be about 12 years now.
12 years.
Yep.
So you're no stranger to taking risks and trying to experiment a little bit. Are these, would you say that these beers are at the height of that experimentation, or was there something else that you brewed recently that you felt was a little more advantageous?
The pineapple mixed with the dragon fruit is kind of a new go. We try to bounce back and forth. We have a good wheat base that we work with, and then we add different fruits too. So it's just, we've done blueberry, we've done mango, we've done strawberry in that same base. This is the first time going and using the pineapple and dragon fruit combo in that base. So that's a little different, stepping outside of our comfort zone, using two fruits that we don't really work with very often. The Jolly Roger, again, same thing. We've used the base before. It's somewhat new. It's less than a year old. And that kind of flavor combination with the coconut and the cacao we're pretty comfortable with balancing. But the rum chips and throwing in the sugarcane syrup is a little new.
Yeah. Okay.
So a little new, a little old.
Yeah.
Something
put it all
borrowed.
together. I mean, in 12 years, you gotta take a risk, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what's the part of brewing, right? That's what keeps you coming back, right? Is brewing something new and challenging yourself and using an ingredient that you haven't used before and seeing what happens. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And you take the good with the bad.
Yeah. So with that, you're trying out some new things. Did you add or subtract anything from your setup to kind of accommodate some of these new recipes?
Not really. I mean, everything's pretty standardized at home. You're talking like brew process wise. Everything's pretty standardized at home. It really comes down to just mining your pillars of brewing. And when it comes to these adding adjuncts and ingredients, it's mining your cold side oxidation, making sure everything's chilled. And then for a competition like this where they're asking for bottles, your packaging. And making sure that's done correctly and making sure you're getting enough CO2 to carry over in those bottles so they're not flat when the judges drink them or the patrons drink them.
Yeah, absolutely. And because bottle conditioning is something that you were doing, but you also, you threw us some cans once there before too.
Yeah, we messed around with cans. We don't have a can seamer. We use twisty cans.
Which is still cool. Those cans you brought were so cool.
Yep.
Because it was the, what were you throwing in there? I think it was like some kind of lime.
Oh yeah, that was last year. That was our Baja Bound, our Mexican lager.
Yeah,
it was in there. That actually just took a medal too recently.
Oh nice.
Yeah, yep.
Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
I mean, you gave me like a handful of those things, and I don't think they made it 2 days after I got them.
They're kind of a cool way to just fill right off the tap, and if they don't have to last very long if you're giving them out. They're just an easy way, just fill them right from the tap, and cap them right there, and it's done, right?
Yeah.
And you can just kind of give them out to whoever.
You're good to go.
So that's why I love doing those.
Yeah.
The bottle's a little more work sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So I'm sure there are some younger brewers that have been reaching out to you, asking you for hints and tips and some guidance, because you're a vet, so you've been doing it for a second. But of course, you got to be wanting to go out there too and start mixing up with some of these maybe newer brewers, maybe some older brewers. Is there anybody that you've been seeing lately that you want to team up with? And if you can pick that person, what kind of beer are you going to make with them?
Oh man.
If you pick Adam, I swear to God.
I'm not going to pick Adam.
I'm going to push you in the fountain.
No, I'm going to, how about Mesher?
You want to get Mesher?
Yeah, I want him to come over and brew. He's learning, right? He's got to come over to my place and brew something.
He's got some medals now too.
Yeah, he does. I heard. Congratulations to him, by the way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I want him to come over the old brew house, get on there, and he can brew a little all grain action, and I'll let him even clean.
You'll let him clean?
Yeah, let him clean. So he can pick the style though.
Okay. So if you're gonna let him clean the grain, I think that you probably want to lean towards something that's gonna take about 40 to 60 pounds of grain.
Brew something heavy, yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice dark stout.
Wonderful. And then, of course, I'm going to look forward to the collaboration with Boleros now.
Yes, very exciting to do that.
I'm going to chase you down.
Yeah, that probably won't come for a while. If it's anything like the first one, it'll be sometime in the spring of next year.
Worth the wait.
We'll definitely let you know. We'll be going to New Jersey and bringing cases back for all of our Pittsburgh people.
Awesome.
But how are you guys doing? You guys glad to be back after the hiatus?
It is so fun to be back, and to be back in this scene, and just being around people that I admire. I like the homebrew scene because it's kind of like what we were doing with the podcast, and we still do with the podcast. You're taking a risk, you're betting on yourself, everything's DIY, nobody's coming to save you, you just got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that, I have Adam, and he supported me the entire time we were on hiatus. We were still pitching ideas to each other.
Awesome.
And then, of course, having people like you and like Whittlewood, like Cons and Brian Llewellyn, who on short notice let me come back in here and do this again today.
Awesome.
So it's a ton of support, and I didn't think we were gonna have fans come back, and they all came back and they brought friends.
Hey, listen, we were missing. I know I was missing my Monday morning listening to Kane with the boys on the way to work. So.
Well, I appreciate it. But you know what I also appreciate about you is you play our silly little goose games. So I'm gonna, you know how I do this, man.
Okay.
I got a couple categories. You pick a category. You got to either answer the question or you got to respond to the prompt or whatever it might be. Okay?
All right.
So here are your categories: This or that, the lightning round, red, green, beige, or legacy questions.
Ooh, let's go this or that.
All right, so this or that came from one of our fantastic episodes where we went over viral videos.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you 2 viral videos and you have to tell me which one has more views.
Okay.
You have to get 2 out of 3 to win.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I think I got this.
All right. Dramatic chipmunk versus double rainbow.
I feel like Dramatic Chipmunk just because it's probably been around longer.
Oh, you missed the first one. Double Rainbow is at 49 million at the time of this writing, and Dramatic Chipmunk's at 43 million.
That poor chipmunk.
Very close, very close. 2007 Miss America acceptance speech versus Charlie Bit My Finger.
Ooh. I'm going to say Charlie Bit My Finger. No, I'm terrible at
The
these.
2007 Miss America came in at 72.5 million, while Charlie Bit My Finger is only at 15 million.
Only 15 million? That's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
video.
So-
I'm picking the ones I like.
I know. So how about this one? This one,
I got to get one at
you
least.
got to get one. Damn Daniel versus Coke and Mentos.
Let's go Coke and Mentos. I'm 0 for 3. I'm terrible.
Damn Daniel came in at 43 million. Oh no, actually I'm wrong. Coke and Mentos is correct.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, it fooled me. Coke and Mentos 111 million.
Yep.
I thought I had 11 million there versus Damn Daniel at 43 million.
Oh, okay.
You brought it home at the
At
very
least I
last
got
second.
one thing right. I was about to say I should probably stick to brewing.
So, Mike, as always, it's a blast to talk to you.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see what you do next,
Yeah.
and we're gonna have you and Katrina on for an episode.
Heck yeah,
sometime
you
soon.
guys can come on over. We got the tap
tap
room,
room?
in the basement done.
Okay,
All
it's a
done.
deal. All right,
Sweet.
man. Thank you.
All right.
So, I finally caught up with the man, the legend, the organizer, James.
One of the organizers.
One of the organizers.
Yes.
I like how you're going to be completely humble about this.
Always.
Always. Last time we spoke, you were telling me about all the different things that you were trying to do with this organization, this event here, and one of the things you talked about was bringing in more vendors, bringing more ideas. So, did you accomplish that this year?
You started with the tough questions first.
I did, yeah.
So
I softballed you last year, bro.
this is still a growing event. And the thing that I found after we spoke was that what makes this event truly special. That's what I wanted to focus on, and that's what I thought we tried to focus on this year, which is building the homebrew community, being a part of the homebrew community in Pittsburgh. This is a group of homebrewers that are really, really tight-knit. They all know each other. They're all members of the same organizations. They see each other at the same events. They brew and taste each other's beers. And I think that was probably the most important thing to tap into was that community and to serve that community more than, adding too many bells and whistles necessarily.
Yeah, and you can see that too, because the homebrew community, from my opinion, from my point of view, is a DIY community. It's very get it done how you can, but also it's humble. It likes to give back, which I think was a great way to link up with the Shriners, because the Shriners have shown historically that they also like to give back to the local community, but also on a national level too. So I know last year you gave proceeds to different venues. So the proceeds this year, are they going to different areas, or are they going to redevelop into the Shriners, or what are you doing?
So primarily when we have events here at Serious Shriners that we put on or that we sponsor, the funds are to help continue the mission of Serious Shriners.
Yeah.
We are one of many, they call them temples.
Yes.
We're one of many, many temples across the state, across the country, and around the world of guys who are Shriners, part of the organization of Shriners International, and who are foundationally at heart, and to begin with, Freemasons.
Yes.
So this organization has been here since 1887. Mm-hmm. One of the very first shrine temples that were formed was the Pittsburgh location, or the Pittsburgh chapter. And so when we put on a lot of these events, we've got bills to pay, we've got facilities to support, we've got a mission that we want to try and contribute to, which is providing a fraternal, fun, philanthropic place for people to be a part of. Not only the members themselves, who are all men, but also their wives, and their families, their children. So we have to raise money for this organization in order to perpetuate its mission. And primarily that's what a lot of these events that we do here do.
Yeah. And it seems to serve well too. The crowd here is fantastic. They all seem to be really enjoying. Of course, we have some outside vendors here. We have a gaggle of great brewers here. But I want to go back to something you said too about the historic nature of the Shriners Temple here in Pittsburgh, because we also have one of the most historic microbreweries that is now nationwide in Yuengling. So it's almost as if we're going to take those two histories and collide them together in a new forefront. We're in 2023. We're not in 1887 anymore, but we are seeing new innovations. So we're seeing brewers here today, and we're seeing them bring new ideas, fresh ideas to this, and we're seeing new offerings we didn't see last year. I don't know if you had a chance to go around yet, but I'm seeing a lot of people using like local goods in their beers, namely like some habaneros, some pineapples. A lot of those are making their way out. Of course, my colleague made a jalapeno pineapple IPA, which is a knockout. So are you kind of seeing like the evolution of this, the evolution of the Shriners, and how building up the history? Is that something that's important to you? Do you see that as in something, a good stepping stone?
Absolutely. So let me first start off by saying that Shriners and beer are quite fond of one another. That's never been a mystery. It's been widely known. And we are an offshoot organization of Freemasonry that focuses on the fun, the camaraderie, the getting together, the conviviality, eating, drinking, and partying together, essentially. And so it was really a natural fit for us to, first of all, take a small event, which it was originally, and grow it into what we have here today. It's the perfect marriage between an organization who has fun at its, as a foundational tenet of its existence, along with introducing ourselves to an entire new community of a lot of young people. So a lot of our events that we hold here don't necessarily cater to a crowd of this age, late 20s, early 30s, but you see a lot of those types of folks here today. And I'm not an old guy, I'm not a young guy, but I'm old enough to remember it wasn't so long ago that, there were only a handful of beers, right? There were the big breweries, and maybe they had a couple of specialty beers, but when I was in college 23 years ago, some of those big breweries were just starting to dabble into trying different new things that weren't your standard Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light, etc. There started to be this growth of really unique and different beers. And I think that once people, particularly young people, started to get a taste of those different beers that were out there, and then they realized how incredibly simple it is, generally speaking, to make beer yourself, that it blew the lid right off of it. All of a sudden, with a small investment in simple tools and equipment, and with a little bit of knowledge that is easily found now because of the internet, and information is available to all of us. It's not hard. You didn't have to know somebody who was a head brewer somewhere to figure out how to brew beer. You could go on the internet and you could download recipes and you could figure out the equipment that you needed. And so it's been an absolute explosion, almost technically, sort of, in a way of thinking, overnight. We went from boring beer to extraordinary beer.
Yeah.
Now we've got breweries popping up in neighborhoods all over the place. I live in Mars.
Okay.
And in Mars now, they took the old fire station and turned it into a brewery. I live very close to Butler. Butler's got 2 or 3 breweries in there. Down the street in Cranberry, there's a couple of different breweries. So breweries are incredibly popular. They're blowing up all over the place, and the appetite is insatiable for good beer or different beer. And you can't help but sit down and talk to somebody about the types of beers that they like, and opinions are, polarizing, right? Mm-hmm. I can't stand, some people say, I can't stand IPAs, or I can't stand, light beers that don't, pilsners that don't have a ton of flavor. You'll find everything under the sun at a brew festival, not unlike this.
Yeah. And the other thing too about the unique nature of this brew fest, it's been recognized as one of the premier homebrew events of the year. The fervor for this thing is palpable. I mean, we have people coming from all over the state to come to this thing, and all the surrounding states to come to this as well. But the other thing too here is that you give the ability for what we would call an amateur brewer, a home brewer, the opportunity to win a chance to brew on one of the most historic systems in all of craft brewing at Penn Brewery. And we see people take that opportunity and elevate themselves to become like staples in the home brew community. It's kind of like, and we're a pro wrestling focused podcast, well, it's kind of like watching the indies blow up more than the big guys. So, I'm proud to say that I have friends here that are making beers that could knock the socks off of some more macro level breweries. So I want to know, how did you link up with Penn and be able to afford the opportunity to a home brewer to have that pro brewer chance?
First, I have to take my hat off, and I can't say enough about how cool it is, how special it is, and how amazing and kind and generous it is for Penn Brewery, as big as they are and as important as they are in Pittsburgh, to partner with an event like ours. The original organizer, Brian Llewellyn, is a big member of the local brewing community. And through that brewing community, he ended up, through his network, getting to know the Penn Brewery guys. So the relationship between this event and Penn Brewery predates my involvement. But what I will say is that we can't thank Penn Brewery enough for providing their name, lending their brand, and bringing some of their dignitaries, including the owner, Stefan, and the brewers, Chris and Rob, to come down here today to sample the beers, to lend their presence to this event. Gives it a certain notoriety. It really is something special for somebody to be able to take something in their, create something in their garage or in a space that they got available to them, and potentially have it elevated to the position of being brewed at a major regional brewery like Penn Brewery. Can't say enough about that. It's really special. It's fantastic.
So before we move into the fun part of this interview, as we always would do, and you know what's coming next, can you please tell everybody who's maybe interested in donating to Shriners, possibly becoming a Shriner, how they can go about doing that?
Absolutely. So I've been a Freemason since 2016. Every small town, borough, city, you name it, in America, across America, has a Masonic lodge in it. And the long-standing purpose, at its simplest explanation of Freemasonry, is to take good men and to make them into better men. We welcome and seek men of high moral character, people who have good character, good conscience, good moral values, who are seeking friendship and networks of people of a like mind. And to become a Shriner, to join that fun part, the fun organization, it's called an appendant body of Freemasonry. There are many, but the Shriners are probably the most widely known because of our great philanthropy, Shriners Hospitals for Children. You must first become a Freemason. And so the way you go about doing that is you visit your local Masonic lodge in the town where you live in. You knock on the door and you introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm interested in taking a journey into Freemasonry. And then you'll go through the steps that it takes. Once you become a Freemason, then you can go out and join many of the couple of dozen different appendant bodies of Freemasonry that are out there. But there are only so many temples, Shriners temples, but they're usually headquartered in major cities: Philadelphia, Erie, Altoona, Pittsburgh, or some of the big local ones. So they're usually close enough that you can become a member without it being much of a long distance or much hardship for you to become involved. The Shriners in Pittsburgh, just like any other temple, are a regional organization. They stretch out pretty far beyond their physical location. And there are lots of opportunities to participate in being a Shriner beyond just potentially living close to the temple where it's at. So that's essentially it. You first become a Freemason, then you express some interest in becoming a Shriner, and if you are a person who is interested in the types of things and the types of values that those organizations espouse, they'll welcome you with open arms.
Wonderful. And now, talking about good men becoming great men. The last time we did this, James, you were a great man and you smashed our trivia.
Did I smash it? I can't remember if I did. How well I did.
You did a very, very good job.
Okay, maybe better than most. We'll
I
try
would
to do
say, yeah. I think you tapped into the Super Saiyan part of being a Shriner, and you just went over 9,000, and you absolutely destroyed our trivia. However, I brought some new stuff with me.
I like it.
So I'm going to give you an opportunity because you are a fancy pants man, and I'm going to allow you to pick your own category.
Oh, excellent.
So we have a category called This or That. We have another one called the Lightning Round. We have a category called Red, Green, or Beige. And the last one is Legacy Questions.
Legacy questions.
Where would you like to dabble, sir?
Am I allowed to dig a little deeper into what legacy questions might be? Is there a historical aspect to that with the legacy?
The reason why they're legacy questions is because we've been doing this for almost 3 years now.
Gotcha.
And these are the funniest questions that elicited some of the best responses from our guests during our segment called Adam versus Guests. So they are 5 of the funniest questions that we've had.
That's too enticing to pass up. Let's go with the legacy question.
Wonderful. Okay. So, James, I have to know. The Professional stars Jean Reno as Leon, the maligned assassin who only wants peace and quiet, who unfortunately is forced to square up again against Gary Oldman as Norman Stansfield because of his unfortunate sidekick, Matilda. What is the name of the actress that played Matilda? Is it A, Elizabeth Regan, B, Ellen Green, C, Natalie Portman, or D, Sylvie Landra?
C, Natalie Portman.
You are a man amongst boys.
One of my favorite flicks of all time, no lie. Gary Oldman in that movie is exceptional. He's an exceptional actor. He was extra exceptional in that movie. I love that movie. I really, really enjoy that movie. I like international spy thrillers, one man versus, good versus evil type of things. And Natalie Portman was just getting her start.
Yeah.
And she was exceptional. So, yeah, one of my favorites. That was an easy one.
Wonderful. So, sir, as I already assumed that you would, you completely smashed our trivia. I can't get past you. But I will say, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. You always just know exactly what to say to all these hardball questions I give you. And I thought I had you off the rip on that hard one on the first, but you know what? I should have known better. Thanks again, James.
Matt, thank you.
It is a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you again next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. This adds a fun aspect. As you can probably tell, I like talking.
As I continue to run into new brewers, old brewers, first-time brewers, legacy brewers, I'm running into a new gentleman I have not spoken to yet. So before I get into anything, can you tell everyone who's listening who you are, where they can find your brewery online, if any social media handles or anything?
Yeah, my name's Mike Swiderski. My nickname's Squid, therefore my brewery name is Squid Brewing. I'm from Ross Township. I've been brewing for about 7 years. And yeah, anywhere in North Hills, I like to share my beer.
Nice. All right, awesome. So you've been doing this for 7 years.
Yes.
Are you a part of Trash, Troop, and all those things as well?
Yeah, I'm part of Troop and Trash.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so then you probably know my podcast partner, Mr. Bashline.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I see the face light up. He's a dick.
He wins everything.
I know.
So
he's like the Tom Brady of homebrewing right now, and I think I'm gonna kick his kegs over. Honestly, I'm sick of him rubbing it in my face. So.
I got a steel pipe we can smash his chins with.
Dude,
if you
say less, Squid.
That.
I'm in.
Yeah.
So, what did you decide to bring to the festival today?
I brought 3 beers. I brought a Saison, more of an experimental Saison. Used a wheat rye hybrid, so it gives off almost like a double flavor to it, but then it has a little bit of Saison-ish to it. A pineapple ginger beer, so fresh ginger kicks you in the ass, and then the sweetness of the pineapple.
Nice.
And also a Marzen that is spiked with a tropical fruit called Mamey Sapé.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it has a little bit of a pineapple coat.
Okay. So so that fruit that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because
I can't pronounce it either, so.
So that wonderful fruit you just mentioned that you're putting into your Marzen, how did you kind of come across that to put it in with the caramel kind of base of the Marzen?
I participated in a online fruit, almost like club, called MiamiFruit.org, and you get all these weird ass tropical fruits on a monthly basis.
Yeah,
and that was
awesome.
one that looked like it would pair nicely with the Marzen.
So for the 7 years you've been doing this, you kind of have that ability to look at something and go, I know I can shove that in.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're no stranger to the adjunct game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't like it, then I push it off to my friends. Here, try this.
Perfect. Yeah. Do you like this? Take more of it.
Yeah.
So would you say then, because it's a fruit that neither of us can pronounce, do you think that's your most adventurous beer to date?
Probably not. I tried a Brett New England IPA a few years back.
Okay, and that one kind of got you?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the problem with that one?
It was just an interesting, unique flavor to it with the Brett. Little horse blanket-ish, paired up with the fruitiness of pineapple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever you are working through the brew process, what does your system look like? What kind of kit are you? You're probably not on a kit, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure you're on a more elevated system, so what are you working with?
I have a 3-vessel spike electric system.
Okay.
So I got all the stainless steel and stainless steel conicals.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
I have
And
total temperature control.
wonderful. I was going to ask you if you got into the temperature control side of it. So are you looking towards like lagering and pilsners and?
Yeah, actually the Marzen was a lager.
Right, of course,
So-
yeah. Awesome, yeah. So with that temperament, do you find that's one of the harder parts of that style of beer, or do you feel just like the beer itself is intimidating? Because I'm only a cellarman. I move grain around when it's spent, so that's all I got.
Yeah, it's just like any beer. It's you got your basic steps and make the yeast happy, and then you have happy beer.
Good stuff happens. Yeah, wonderful. So there's a ton of brewers here. There's some new ones I haven't seen before, some returning from taking some breaks. Is there anybody in here right now that you would like to team up with? And if so, what would you guys make?
Of course, Adam Bashline would be
Okay.
he always brings great beers.
Okay.
Brew like a Adjunct, one of his famous Adjunct beers.
Okay. All right.
It's always a fun time to drink.
Would you try to bring in one of those unique fruits to try to throw it in there
Of course.
too? Yeah.
Get Lori to make something and then toss in the mash and have fun.
That's, we all got to find that one partner that's going to bring that nice side piece to it as well. So I saw, your sticker looked great. You have great artwork. So who does all that for you?
I do it myself.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
What are you using to make the artwork?
Photoshop or Illustrator.
Okay, awesome. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to get into homebrew but they're kind of nervous about it? What would you say to that?
Just do it. Pair up with, come to a Trash or Trube meeting, talk to some more experienced brewers.
Cool.
Come over and sit on a brew day.
So then too, can you tell people how easy it is to get into Trash and Trube?
Yeah, just go to the Facebook page, find out when the events are, and show up. You don't need to bring anything. Yeah, mingle with the club members.
That's one thing I do like about the homebrew community itself, is that I always felt that it's very supportive and you guys try to challenge each other, but it's like friendly, like how we're making fun of Adam. It's all friendly jostling and try to get each other to be better and like hopefully take the next step or just make amazing beers to share. Plus, I've been to a meeting and you guys do epic bottle shares. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, if you like weekends, go to Trash. Like weekdays, go to Troop.
Or if you want to just mash it all up, just go to both.
Yeah.
So we are not just a beer podcast. We are a combat sports. We are adversarial podcast. What I like to do usually is have Adam go against the guest in a segment I call Adam versus Guest, where I surprise the shit out of him with questions and ideas that he doesn't get to see, and I get to surprise the guest, and they go head to head to see who can get the most questions right. So what I want to do with you, for the grand prize of a sticker, because who doesn't need more stickers?
I don't have one of those stickers.
You can earn one right now by answering a question from a couple categories. Are you game?
I'm game.
Wonderful. Okay, so the categories you get to pick from here are this or that, the lightning round, red, green, or beige, or legacy questions.
Legacy.
Legacy questions. So these are the questions that our fans thought were the funniest ones that we could possibly come up with, and the responses to them have been hilarious. So I am going to ask you to let me read the entire question, and some of them are multiple choice, and let me go through all the answers before you make your final selection, okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. Finish this Taylor Swift Bad Blood lyric. You say you're sorry just for show. If you live like that, A, well then you know. B, your mom's a hoe. C, you live with ghosts. Or D, you'll disrespect your surroundings.
B.
Great answer. It's wrong, but I'm glad you picked it, and that earns you a sticker.
All right.
The right answer is you live with ghosts. However, everyone picks your mom's a hoe, so you're falling in line with some of the greats. So once more before we sign off on this one, where can people find you on all the social media handles?
OnlyFans. Serious too.
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook.
And that's at Squid Brewing?
Yes.
Wonderful.
And Untapped, of course.
Untapped, of course, yes. So thank you so much. I'm so glad I got to catch up with you, and we'll have to bring you on for a full episode. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as I continue, like I've said, I don't know, a gajillion times, about walking around this place and finding people who are absolutely killing it in the homebrew game, I now get to talk to the other half of fifth season, Katrina.
Hi, guys.
It's so good to see you. Here's the thing. I could ask you about the beers you brought here. I could do all that, but that is irrelevant to me at this point because I have one of the stalwarts of the Pink Boots Society. So we have people from all different kind of backgrounds when it comes to understanding what brewing is. So could you let people know what Pink Boots is?
Sure. So Pink Boots is a society for women or people who identify in the women community who are part of the fermented beverage industry. So that could be anywhere from wine, seltzers, ciders, mead, beer, anything that is fermented. So it's trying to celebrate those who are in a diverse part of basically a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, it absolutely is. As I stand here as a half-in-the-can male trying to ask you questions, but I do want to know, this is very important because, as you said, it's a male-dominated field, and we need to understand that there are different inputs, insights, and inquiries to what happens in the brew game. And my understanding is, even though you are sharing this with Mike at fifth season, you have stepped out on your own and you've actually won some accolades on your own with some recipes that you came up with. I think it was from what you guys had back in January, you had taken home some gold. So what were you doing back there?
Yeah, so back in, I think it was in January of last year, they were doing an all-female brew competition out in Washington, Oregon? So out west, and I said, hey, I'm a female brewer, let me join into this. And we won, I won a couple of medals, took gold for a chocolate cherry stout and bronze in another category. I have to go look at my notes, I don't remember off the top of my head. But I think it was really cool that they did this. They do it every year. It's actually a pretty large festival that they do out there. It's more than just a mail-in, obviously, but the winner gets to go and brew with a female owner out there. So again, they're celebrating the women that are in the industry, which is super cool.
That's really cool. So that first place that you got with that, is that going to be something you did get the brew over there, or is that?
So like the best in show, whatever.
Okay.
Something. Yes.
So the category you won would have been for stout then?
Correct.
Okay. And
yes.
then the third place you also have, we don't know what it is.
I don't remember what it is.
But you still brought home medals.
Yes,
which
we
is
brought
awesome.
some hardware at home,
Yeah.
which is always cool to bring some hardware home. And like I said, it's kind of cool to have it. And like the medal's cool because it literally says like she brew on it. So like clearly it's female. So yeah.
So do you have any breweries, in Pittsburgh, I think last time I checked, we have 42 active breweries inside Allegheny County. I think we have over 80 if you count the surrounding counties right now that are active and selling. Is there any brewery around here that has a heavy female influence that if someone was coming to Pittsburgh that you would point them towards?
I mean, I gotta give a huge shout out to Katie over at Coven. I mean, she is part owner, she's head brewer. I mean, she's absolutely killing it in the whole female aspect over at Coven, driving the female behind it in the brewery. So total shouts out to Katie. Grist House, also Crystal is over at Grist House. She is a huge driving factor over there as well. They are both in our Pink Boots chapter. So They're awesome. There are a lot of women behind the scenes that people don't even realize.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's like male head brewers and then like the female counterpart is kind of doing behind the scenes or the social media, things like that. And I think a lot of people forget that they are there. So it's definitely, so yeah, if you're gonna come to Pittsburgh and you're looking for some female stuff, absolutely stop at Coven, Grist House, or just the top two that I can think of.
The other one too I always think about too is Necromancer.
Yes,
Necromancer,
absolutely.
huge,
Yes.
and also very LGBTQ plus forward as well, which is incredible. Like very safe space. We've done a showcase there together.
Yes.
We've poured beers beside each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Necromancer is fantastic. I know they opened a second location. But if you come to Pittsburgh, you know North Side, South Side. I'm down in the South Side, South Hills. So I don't get to get up to the North Hills very often. But yes, Necromancer is also a wonderful place as well.
Great. So I also want to ask you too, so I have the luxury of seeing the Pink Boot Society continue to evolve, and you don't only have female-focused brewers, but you also have beer influencers, you have like beer Instagrammers, you have different walks of life that are coming in, but you guys all come together and you get to do the hop selection, which is an incredible process. Could you tell people what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like you said, there's not just brewers involved either. So, like, we have Jen, who's part of Hello Brewtiful, and she's always at all the meetings, too. So it's kind of cool to see, like you said, different walks in life, too. So the hop selection occurs, and we get to, it's across the nation. We get to smell the different hops, and we kind of get to pick on, like, what we like. We fill out sheets and things like that, and through that process. And it's really cool because then all of the data from all over the nation is collected, and they kind of create this blend, and it's really cool because then that blend gets used by breweries across the nation, and proceeds go back into Pink Boots. Because Pink Boots is actually, the whole point of Pink Boots is not just to celebrate the women, it's actually, they raise money to fund education programs for women in the beer society or the fermented society as well. So they do all sorts of like scholarships to educate more beer or fermented beverages for the women as well. So it's really cool that they get to get money back from this as well.
Yeah, wonderful. And I've seen you guys really make like a day out of it too. Like it's not that you guys come in and it's very like, on the sheet. You guys hang out, you're sharing beers, you're talking shop. But I want to know, in all of this, as a standout female brewer as you are, who's taken home their own hardware, is there anybody around here right now, any other brewers that you're seeing in here that you would like to just leave Mike in the back seat of the car, but leave the air conditioning on for him, of course.
Crack the window.
Crack the window, leave the note that says he has his favorite song on, which is probably something from Papa Roach. Is there anybody around here that you want to team up with?
I mean, Lori from Bash is going to be like the most person that I would totally team up with. They were super great when we got to Pittsburgh a little over a year ago. I love to see her. I would love to pair up with her. I think we are very similar in the field. We have technically our men who are probably the forefront of the brewery, but again, in the background, people kind of forget sometimes that we're there. So I'd love to kind of pair up with Lori and kind of
That'd be great.
Work up with something from her.
Do you know what you would want to try to pitch as a beer you guys could work on together?
I don't know. Lori's very good at doing like her adjunct syrups. So I would probably let her take the lead and kind of like flavor-wise, and then I would kind of take the lead with the recipe building. So kind of have her do some creative stuff and then build up from there.
Maybe work off that stout base that you had for the cherry stout you took home medals on.
Absolutely. That cherry stout was good, but I definitely think it could get a lot better, especially with Lori's syrups and adjuncts they do such a great job with adjuncts.
That's awesome. So before we move into the fun part of all this, can you tell people how they can become a part of Pink Boots Society?
Sure. So there's Pink Boots chapters all over the country. Actually, it's international as well. But there are probably a Pink Boots chapter near you. You can head over to the Pink Boots website to figure out where your most local chapter is. And then all the meetings are pretty much open to new members all the time. Just find out where your local chapter is and see follow them on socials and see where they are. It is there is a small dues to be part of it, but what membership doesn't. But yeah, so just head over to Pink Boots, follow them on socials, and there's probably a local one near you. Like I said, I'm in Pittsburgh. The next closest one is Erie for us. There's one in Philly. So just get online and figure out where the closest chapter is.
That's awesome. So you have been a guest on our show before. You know that first and foremost, we love beer, we love brewers, but we love combat.
Oh God, I'm not gonna know anything.
We love trivia. We love pitting Adam against our guests. So I dipped back into some of our shows, and I found some of the funnest questions I possibly can. So as a legacy member of the Decaying with the Boys family, I'm going to give you the option. You can pick from these categories, but if you want to win this game, you got to be right. Okay? So you get to either go into questions of this or that, the lightning round, red, green, or beige, or legacy questions.
Red, green, or beige?
You want to do red, green, or beige?
Sure.
So these are new to the Bash Brew family and the Decaying with the Boys family. We just covered red flags, green flags, and beige flags in the dating world.
Okay.
So I will now give you an opportunity. You can pick red flags, green flags, or beige flags.
I don't know what a beige flag is, but let's go with it.
Okay, so a beige flag is when someone says something that's not overtly so terrible where you would not want to date them, but it does give you a second to
pause.
stop.
Okay.
Like saying, I want someone to go on adventures with me. What the fuck does that mean?
Okay.
So now I'm challenging you to either give me your beige flag, Mike's beige flag, or the worst one you ever saw when you were on the dating scene before Mike entered your life.
Can I switch to a different color?
You know what? Because you are you.
Oh, God.
Do you want to pick a different color?
Yes.
Which one do you want to pick?
A red flag.
So now that you're doing that, you have to give me your red flag, one that you present.
Yeah. Oh, that I give
Yeah.
out. Okay.
What's your red flag?
That I brew beer. It's probably super time consuming, and so yeah, it's probably a red flag for some.
I would say that's your beige flag.
Okay.
But I understand exactly where you're coming from. If I could say, I think Mike's beige flag is he thinks he's funny, but he's...
I think he's funny, but maybe
kidding.
it's, yeah.
I love you guys. So I always appreciate talking to you, Katrina. It's always a blast. You always have great insight to what's going on in the homebrew community and beyond. And also, too, congratulations on the accomplishments at Bolero Snort.
Thank you.
Like, you guys are just killing it. So I can't wait to see you guys do next. And I can't wait to have you guys back on for a full episode when that beer comes through so I can get it in my tummy.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
Well, that's it. The conclusion of North Hills Homebrew Fest 2023. I want to thank James from the Shriners Center, all the fans that stopped by to answer questions, Mike and Katrina 5th season, Tapmore, Mesh Mash Brewing, everybody else, all the winners, Whittlewood, 60 South, Brian Llewellyn. Thank you so much for your incredible time, and I can't wait to do it again in 2024. But if you want to know what's going on with Adam down in the Brew Lab, he is at @bash_brew on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. What's going on with the boys on here at Jojitorium? We are at DWTB on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also known as X, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. So until next time, from North Hills Homebrew Fest 2023, cheers.
For all the marbles.
This is for the stickers, guys. Focus. Eyeballs.
She just took over Pittsburgh, so you should know this.
Taylor Swift.
Correct.
Give me my money.